Hello, everyone, at the Charlotte Motor Speedway with Neil Bonnet. I'm Ken Squire, and we're ready for Sportsman competition. 67 laps, 100 miles for some 41 drivers tonight. It's a real test, a real struggle among the newcomers, folks that are getting their teeth cut on this kind of racing. A lot of old Winston Cup cars are ready for another gamble out here, and we'll see what they can do. Kurt Shelmerdine's going to be up on the front. And to my colleague Neil Bonnet, the question is, what's he going to do with Sherry Minter starting alongside? This gal's looking good out here tonight.
I tell you, there's a lot of new drivers in this series that's really getting the job done. Lady driver, hey, don't say anything. She's outside pole. She's got a lot of these guys chasing her on that racetrack, and they're going to have to hustle around her to beat her. And
Tim Bender, the guy that was the snowmobile champion 5 times up from the north, he's down here in the second row. There's going to be a lot of good running before this one's over and a lot of action. Let's go to Dick Berger.
Well, our pole sitter, Kurt Shelmerdine, knows what it's like to win here at Charlotte, but he also knows what it's like to crash hard in this division. Last spring, he crashed so hard he destroyed the car. Now, the question is, how do you manage to win this thing and keep this car in one piece tonight?
Well, that certainly is the name of the game, Dick. You know, when you go through enough of those things and live through it, you get pretty good at avoiding things. So hopefully we got enough experience to keep out of trouble. My car is really good this time, and we should be in awful good shape if things go right.
Okay, working on pit road with me tonight, the publisher of National Speed Sport News, Corinna Konamaki.
Thanks, Dick. We're here with Sherry Minter in her 3rd season of Sportsman racing, sitting on the outside pole. Sherry, there have been some incidents in this race last year. What is your strategy for the first lap?
Well, it'll take 2 or 3 laps to get some temperature built up in our tires, so we do have to start single file. I'll drop in behind Kirk, and we'll give our tires time to warm up and go after it.
How do you like night racing?
I love it. You can see so much more at night here. It's really nice.
Sherry Minter on the outside of the front row. Last time here, she was in a wreck that was so strong, they now use her car as part of a mobile in the museum. They got it hung up from the ceiling. She's a tough little racer, and she's ready to give Shelmerdine a run for the front right at the start of this, the Sportsman 100 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Stay with us.
At GMC Trucks, we've built a reputation for truck strengths. A considerable advantage. It also comes in this handy take-home side. Sierra from GMC Truck.
It's a silver time. It's a silver plate. It's a silver setting. At a silver face, waiting for our very best friends. Those silver bullets through. They never end. In a silver time, good light. In a silver place, so right here now. Silver memory.
Your world is about to become a little smaller. Those important to you a whole lot closer, because now across the U.S. and Canada, leading cellular communication companies have come together to create the most extensive cellular service ever. So now staying in touch is as simple as a phone call.
Hello? I've been waiting for your call.
Introducing Mobile Link. To order service, call 1-800-995-4000.
Everyone talks about how racing technology makes their street cars better. There isn't a car company today that brings more race-winning technology to the street than Chevrolet.
Back with you at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, getting ready for action in Sportsman competition. A division that was created right here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, giving an opportunity to a lot of folks to get a chance at running some super speedways at some restricted speeds, but it certainly hasn't restricted the action and the competition in this particular popular area of stock car racing. There's been a lot of action out here, and the competition had 3-4 cars battling right to the finish time after time. Here's how they're lining up for tonight's race. On the pole for the start will be Kurt Shelmerdine, and alongside is Sherry Minter. Shelmerdine's won here before. Then in row 2, it's Wally Fowler and Tim Bender. Bender will be the guy to watch in 36 at the outset. Going to row 3, there you have Ronnie Sewell, and he's out of Shelby, North Carolina. David Smith alongside. For row 4, Mickey Hudspeth is there from Rhonda, North Carolina, and Paul Shaver out of Kitty Hawk. In row 5, it's Shot Howard from Monroe, North Carolina, and Peter Gibbons, the Canadian runner that you saw in those early footage getting crashed pretty hard into the wall. Row 6 is Henry Benfield, our favorite. Henry works for Junior Johnson, and he's getting stronger. He's right there with Glenn Darnell. Glenn's in his second year of racing. He's 64. In row 7, it's Steve Clark and Jerry Knowles. For row 8, Pride Connor out of Howell, New Jersey, and Bobby Fox Jr. from Long Island, New York. In row 9, it's Curtis Miller from Florida and Red Everett. He's from South Carolina. Row 10 tonight is Lester Lesneski of Stanfield, North Carolina, and Darrell Kentz. Going to row 11, there's Russell Phillips and Marty Ward. Row 12 is Ron Hickson and Henry Wallace for tonight's race. Row 13 is Tuck Trentham from Florida and Michael Gowdy of Ontario, Canada. That's Toronto is where he's from, the actual city. Row 14 is Jeff Niemann and Don Satterfield. Row 15 is Rodney Thomas and Lane Vale. In row 16 tonight will be Robin Caldwell and Harry Page. Row 17 is Fred Costanza and Rounder Severance. Row 18 is Ronnie Grimes from Grindstaff with Manchester, Pennsylvania, and Craig Butts. In row 19, Jake Jones and Martin Tom Weist. And then row 20 is David Owens and Phil Pepper. The 41st position is Pat Dunn of Melbourne, Florida. A lap and they will be loose. And that's an understatement.
Yeah, let me tell you, this is going to be a unique deal. We saw them coming along. See them 2 abreast right now. They're 2 abreast, but look who we got starting the deal here from Sesame Street.
Fits right in with this race.
Yeah, there's Doyle Ford down there. I knew Doyle's job was in Jerry's, but look who got it.
Well, they came around the first time 2 abreast, but now they're single file. The reason is they're trying to make this division as safe as possible, and rather than start them side by side and risk a problem on the very first green flag, this is what they're doing, one behind the other.
And that seemed to work out. Remember, we had that terrible crash here a year ago on the start, so they continue to try to work to get that repaired, get us ready to go. Shelmerdine and Minter for row 1. Let's see, remember, she's number 61, and Kurt carries the number 3. He worked on that number 3 for a long time.
And let me tell you, folks, I was kidding about Doyle Ford and somebody replacing him. One of the nicest flagmen we've ever had, and gets along with all these drivers. Everyone likes working with him. We just got a temporary starter down there with him.
Looks like he didn't want to give up the flags.
I'm not even sure that was Doyle down there. It's too late at night for me to be calling races.
Okay, pace car's in, and we're ready to send this one away.
That was a 2-handed start there with that flag.
The white-red numeral, number 3, out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Didn't take them long to double up, Neil.
Now, in this whole concept of that single-file restart was safety, like Dick Bergman was talking about. Try to avoid the thing like we had last year, the very first. But these guys, they might start single-file, but I promise you, there'll be some side-by-side racing in a hurry.
22, Wally Fowler. Sherry Minter holding on to that second spot. She called it. She was just going to try to get those tires heated. Here we come, and here's where we had the big problem last year.
Well, here we are, the first lap. We're going to try 3 abreast. Shows you how good we started that single file. Here they are, 3 abreast, coming through virtually the same setup we had the first lap last year when they had the accident, but they got through there.
That's Darnell, I believe, down there. He's got a little swirling, picked it back up again. Take a look a little further up here as car number 43 gets into a scramble. Paul Shaver out of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And here comes Gibbons in the 92 out of Stouffville, Ontario, and his Chevrolet, entered by Denise Gibbons. Here's the 36 getting down in there and making a run on that bottom line. Tim Bender.
Yeah, Bender's the type of guy you expect when they start the thing to go to the front. That car's capable. I guarantee you he'll work it right up front.
And Bender's the guy that they're talking about to move up into Grand National races. He's won 7 of these races. Meanwhile, up in front at Shelmerdine.
Kirk's got a lot of experience in these cars. He's been running for a long time. You know, he's used to be the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt and started spending more and more time running these races and actually quit the team so he could race more.
Coming around to complete 2 laps and nary a caution flag yet. Correction, that's 3 laps complete, Neil. They're doing really well out here. We've got a consultation flag down on the number 44. Jeff Nieman's car. Take a look at this one. Down to the inside comes the number 60. Working his way through goes Red Everett. High side out there with Steve Clark in the 95.
I tell you what, we heard him talking about getting some heat in the tires. One of the keys to this type of racing, they furnish them, not furnish them, but they make available a very hard tire to where they get good tire wear. In turn, the hardness of that tire requires more laps to get the car feeling better under the driver. Work that heat up in those tires.
So they've completed 4 laps as Shelmerdine stays up in front. Sherry Minter holds on to that second spot. As they come around in third, it's Wally Fowler, and then it's about a 10-car length interval back to 4th place.
But Bender's really having his problems. He started 4th here and was one of the favorites to win. Last spring they had 3 races. He won 2 of them, was second in the other. He is slow because the engine is missing. The crew on red alert. He is coming down pit road. Tim Bender, the favorite, coming down pit road.
From Colden, New York, Tim Bender on to pit road. One of the first retirees. 2 cars working on pit road at the present time. This was a candidate to win it all, and he's about to go a lap down. Bender. Here are the front 3, 4, 5 as they come to the stripe. It's Shelmerdine leading. Minter in second. Third belongs to Wally Fowler in that white number 22. Staying in 4th is Ronnie Sewell. And in 5th, give that to David Smith of Williamstown, South Carolina. 7th place battle here. That's Paul Sawyer in the 43 on the bottom. The 97 up high, making his move, is Marty Ward out of Marietta, Georgia. So they're away, and it's clear sailing through the first 6 laps of this Sportsman competition at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we'll be back with more in a moment.
Bruins hockey on Nesson, the season spells excitement. It's your chance to see the young Bruins stars of tomorrow make their mark in the AHL. We'll bring you 7 action-packed games worth of fun that you can enjoy from the best seat in your house. Don't miss a second of the action with the Providence Bruins on Nesson beginning Friday, October 8th, when the Bruins duel the Portland Pirates at 7 p.m. The Providence Bruins, live on Nesson, your ticket to New England sports.
Gear up with Eli Gold as he travels the NASCAR circuit to bring you the inside look with auto racing's big boys behind the wheels on This Week in NASCAR.
Tomorrow night at 11, live from Charlotte, North Carolina on Nesson. Your ticket to the best in motorsports.
Well, there have been no cautions, but there's been plenty of action. The latest out here was Henry Benfield, who got drop-kicked out of turn number 4. He picks it right up and keeps on going. Shortly before that, Darrell Krentz, he had a little problem up here in 4. Watch the 0-2 up here in turn 4.
Got sideways right in the middle of 3 and 4. This is one of the most treacherous parts of this track, coming off the 4 turn, headed down to the inside. See that wheel turn to the right, ranker back left. You don't want to go that way. Getting it slowed down. He's headed to the inside wall. slides right up. Very little bit of contact.
Stopped, and there was no caution on that. He came right back out one racing. Now watch Henry here.
There's Henry Benefield on the red car. See, actually the third car back behind him, the third car in line hit the second car, drove him into Henry Benefield. Henry's doing some agriculture racing across the grass right here.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, lucky when you hit
now
that
watch
pavement.
this. This is where he's going to get a big penalty. Went right through Humpy Wheeler's brand new sign.
Yeah, that could cost him. He won't get a drink out of that one, I promise you.
Well, here you have Shelmerdine continuing to lead with Fowler now in second. Dropping back was the outside pole position person for the moment. As the 61. Sherry Minter tries, and Sherry Minter has picked it up. She is there.
She's got her car run a lot better. She had a little bit of trouble after the restart. Shelmerdine's running good. I think she's getting her car back under a little bit more.
There you see the 3 up in front. And the 22 staying right there is Fowler.
Fowler's been closing in. He had to pass Minter and some of the other cars. Now that he's got around him, he's really gaining on Shelmerdine.
Minter being shown in third. All right, now she's sliding back another spot.
I'm not so sure something had to dip. I think she's turning. No, so I can't tell if that's her car coming off on pit road or not. But the car was right up front. All of a sudden, it started dropping back in a hurry.
David Smith just went by, and then several others. I think we have Sherry Minter coming onto pit road.
No, she stayed out.
She stayed out. That's another car.
She did drop to the inside. She's got some kind of problem because the thing's been going in spurts. She's been up there. She'll pull the inside, then she'll take off again.
Here's Gibbons in the 92 closing in. That's for 5th spot. Minter in the 61, Gibbons in the 92.
Look at Gibbons running that real high line. See her pull over to the inside. She sees Gibbons coming. She gives him that high line on the racetrack.
Caution is out. There's a yellow on the speedway.
Must be debris or something. I don't see a car.
14 laps are complete. We've got a smoker out here. They have oiled the track down a little. Russell Phillips, local driver out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
How in the world does he see where he's at there? He's pretty well bogged in.
It's like those old dirt tracks. Counts to 5, turns left. We'll be back with more here at Charlotte. We've completed 15 of 67 laps in the Sportsman 100. More in a moment.
Underneath every new Jimmy is the strength of a strong truck frame. An important advantage for towing, whether you're on-road or off-road. The GMC Jimmy. Drop in for a test drive.
Splitfire earned a United States patent. Splitfire doesn't look like any other spark plug. And the patented Splitfire doesn't work like any other spark plug.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs. Quicker in the quarter mile. A 4.8% gain in mileage.
There's nothing like a Splitfire. You'll get more power and more mileage, or your money back.
Get guaranteed Splitfire benefits for all gasoline engines at leading automotive stores nationwide.
Come on, let's mix it up. Let's mix it up. Let's mix it up.
There are lots of ways to work up a deep down thirst, and with 8 flavors, there are lots of Gatorade ways to quench it.
Gatorade the quencher. Let's mix it up for that deep down body thirst.
There you see Sherry Minter, who started outside of the front row. She's fallen back to 5th and under challenge from Peter Gibbons for that position when they come around to take green. This is our first caution period of the race. Sherry Minter, how do the other guys in the series look at you out here racing?
I'm just another driver. These guys have all been great. They treat me like you say. It's another driver. I don't ask for any favoritism, nothing like that on the track. We're just all one out there on the track racing.
That's Sherry Minter. She's the daughter of an old NASCAR pioneer. He competed in 42 NASCAR Grand National races back in the early days. Started back in 1949 up to the mid-50s. Clyde Minter. So she's given it a good run. 5th spot. 16 of 67 completed, and I think we're a lap away from getting this one back underway. So Shelmerdine stays up in front, and here's Dick Burke.
Well, Ken, we've been seeing a little bit of smoke off Shelmerdine's car, and I talked to the crew, asked them what it's from, and they said, oh, gee, nothing to worry about, just tire smoke. Now, the fact that they did not come in under that caution flag may indicate, indeed, that is just the problem. But I don't know about you, but I get nervous when I see smoke coming off a race car.
Just tire smoke?
Well, he's saying just tire smoke. He must have a pretty good feel for it, because at a track this size, the speeds they're running, it doesn't get any better if it's something wrong like that. So hopefully it's just something small amount of rub with the tires.
Wally Fowler will stay in 2nd spot on the restart. Hopefully for him that he'll be able to pick up a spot here, but he'll have to fight Shelmerdine pretty hard. Then 3rd will be Ronnie Sewell, and 4th on the restart will be David Smith.
The cars in this series are ex-Winston Cup and ex-Busch Grand National cars, but they don't come with the same kind of budget. Most of these teams on pit row have 1 extra set of tires. It's pretty lean pickings down here.
Indeed, it is lean pickings. But that's why this division seems to work. They get a lot of cars out here to compete in it, Neil, because they are so equal, and they really try their best not to have them spending a lot of money.
Well, they could come here and put a real soft tire under these guys. They could go faster, but it's going to cost them money. The tires wear out, so they come with something really hard. All you need is a spare for each side of the car in the pits, and you can get by with it. And let me tell you, in racing, tire bills will eat you alive. It's a good idea with these type cars.
It's put a lot of short tracks out of business. Put a lot of race teams out of business. Tires kill you.
Ken, you and I know across the country, all these short tracks on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, a lot of them are going away because of the expense.
07 coming into the pits, Pride Connor out of Howell, New Jersey. We're 1 lap away from a restart. There is still a safety vehicle up here in 1, but they're going to pull that in, and they'll duck it back under green next time by with 19 complete.
This looks like the car here that hit in the back of the one that turns Benefield around.
Oh, this afternoon, Alan Kowicki fans gathered at Charlotte Motor Speedway to remember the 1992 Winston Cup champion and witness his posthumous induction into the Speedway's Court of Legends here. Very special moment. His dad out here to do the honors. Alan won 5 Winston Cup races, defending Winston Cup champion.
Did you look up Mr. Kowicki?
Might have won 5 races, but he won a lot of hearts.
Very special moment here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway earlier this afternoon. In fact, this entire program tonight is dedicated to the memory of Alan Kowicki. A special ticket was printed up in memory of Alan. He sure would like this division. Well understood the necessity, the need for people to get experience, get some race cars out there in which they could get started in this sport, put themselves in the poorhouse, down here in the pickup truck, and a lot of hope, a couple of new engines, turned it all around, became the national champion. Restart, and as they head down into turn number 1, Shelmerdine's away. It's like here comes Fowler.
The tricky part of this series, these restarts, when they have trouble, hopefully get this start going and not have a problem like we had in the past. Kurt Shelmerdine lead the race. His car seems to be able to pull away. On the start, he pulled away early in the race.
Sewell in the 20 stays right there. Shelmerdine staying in front. Competed in the Winston Cup race back in '81 down at Texas World Speedway. And he wound up 33rd back. And go for James Hill. We'll look further back at this. There's Henry Benfield down on the inside, slugging it out.
Yeah, but he's going to be coming back to the inside. They just got him for jumping the restart black flag. So they're going to be bringing him in. He just jumped to start a little bit, they said, so they're going to bring him down pit road.
Qualified so well, too. Henry was 11th. So there's Shelmerdine continuing to lead. You see the field in turn 1. But that lead that Shelmerdine is enjoying, he is not building on. Staying right there with him. Wally Fowler, South Carolina driver in a Chevrolet. Family operation, that second place car.
These cars here, you can see they're the old Monte Carlos. They're the Winston cars of a few years back, trying to take advantage of when they obsolete them in Winston Cup, let these guys take them over at a lot less price than what it costs. Still, those were some of the best driving cars in Winston Cup. It's good for this series to happen.
Ronnie Sewell, that blue and gold car, stays in third spot. But Shelmerdine from the outset, but now 22 laps complete, continues to pace the field. It's Shelmerdine in first. It's Wallace in second. And then in third spot, it's Fowler. Lap 25, major crash out of turn number 2. Harry Page's car from Charlotte badly torn up, and a couple of other cars, at least 3, involved in this incident. Charlotte Motor Speedway, Sportsman race, 100 miles the distance. For sure, the Page car got badly wrapped as it came through 1, got caught in turn 2. We'll look at it again shortly. Safety crews are on the way. You can see the drivers moving around a bit out there.
You see this fire equipment, people. Safety crew, they're checking the cars, getting the drivers out.
I believe Russell Phillips' car is in that collection. Take a look from that speed shot out there.
We're going to turn 2. We see the yellow car get just a little bit sideways. I don't know if you got together the car behind him. Boy, look at him grinding down this wall. Fixing to work on the camera here. Coming right beside us. A lot of damage to the right side. After that, they went across the inside wall.
Looks like Robin Caldwell's car was one of those involved.
I tell you, Charlotte Motor Speedway has one of the best safety crews available in racing for us. They well take care of the drivers when they have a problem. Hopefully nothing bad wrong.
Looks like there's a car, I was going to say sandwiched in the middle. That is not the case. The Caldwell car, the Page car, got collected in this incident in turn 2. And yellow is out. It is the second time. Let's take one more look at it again.
Let's take a look. Look up your right of your screen. You see the yellow car. Look like that white car. Can't tell what number. Behind him came in. They got together for whatever reason. And then you're going to see the next car try to go around the outside. Ran out of room. Pinched it up on the wall. You see the 2 cars just hanging together as they come through. Boy, headed right down the 27 and the 35.
Scary stuff. We'll have an update for you in just a moment. We'll pause and take this break and then be back at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
At GMC Truck, we've built a reputation for truck strengths. A considerable advantage. It also comes in this handy take-home side. Sierra from GMC Truck.
Don't wait. Get the news weekly of motoring, Auto Week. Don't wait for driving impressions. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. Don't wait for car news. Auto Week covers the world. Auto shows, the new, the old, and brings it to you fast. Don't wait for racing news. Get the news weekly of motoring. Auto Week brings you the winningest coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring, now. Call 1-800-354-6100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-354-6100 for the news weekly of motoring.
Live Sunday, October 17th, Prime goes to Jennerstown, Pennsylvania for Stock Car Racing Championship. Speed returns to Jennerstown as the best in stock cars compete for the final points of the season. ASA competition. Engines are going to fire up on Prime. That's the ASA Wins 400. Well, we've had a major incident up here in turn number 2. It looks like the early reports are that everyone's okay out there, but it's really torn up some equipment, and we're trying to get a further update on at least 3 of those competitors whose equipment was torn up. Harry Page, Russell Phillips, and Robin Caldwell's cars all got mauled out here in this incident, which you saw from the speed camera. We've completed 28 laps. Let's go down to Dick Berggren for a moment.
Interesting conversation on pit road, Ken Squire. Asked Kurt Shelmerdine's crew, is he running that car as hard as he possibly can? And they looked at me as if, are you crazy? You bet he's running it as hard as he can. And they are definitely worried about Wally Fowler in the 22, who is behind him. Fowler's crew says, we can eat him up. Let's see.
Well, the 67 has also found his way into this thing and could give them some fits before it's over. That's David Smith out of Williamstown, South Carolina, and his Chevy made some very good moves in the last few laps as we get closer to a restart. But probably we have 5 or 6, I would say at least 5 or 6 laps with what we still see on the backstretch, Neil.
Yeah, I tell you what, they got, like I said before, they got one of the best safety crews in racing right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and they're going to make sure those drivers are like they need to be to get the cars out of there. It's going to take a little while to do it like it needs to be done.
Let's take a look at the running order right now. See Shelmerdine up in front, Wally Fowler, David Smith, Ronnie Sewell, Canadian Peter Gibbons running in 5th spot. And as we complete the top 10, Sherry Minter, who started outside of the front row, is back in 6th, followed by Hudspeth, Shaver, Everett, and Shot Howard. That's after 29 laps have been completed in the 100-mile distance at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Sportsman 100, more after this.
How would you like to mingle with golf pros at tour events or talk candidly with them in the locker room and get the story behind the story? Hello, I'm Tom Kite, and I'd like to tell you about a magazine that takes you where the news is breaking. Golf World, the #1 news magazine in golf. Golf World brings you in-depth coverage of all major tournaments more than 40 times a year, weekly during peak season. Coverage that starts months in advance of the Masters and continues right on through to the PGA Championship follow-up. You'll also get a close-up look at the tour players who are having a breakthrough year. Golf World will take you inside their game and explore the secrets of their success. Order your one-year subscription to Golf World today. You won't find it on the newsstand.
Get more than 40 news-breaking issues for just $23.77. 40% off the regular subscription price. Order now and get 10 swings from the tour free with your paid subscription. Call 800-634-1200. That's 800-634-1200. Golf World, the #1 news magazine in golf. Gear up with Eli Gold as he travels the NASCAR circuit to bring you the inside look with auto racing's big boys behind the wheels on This Week in NASCAR.
Tomorrow night at 11, live from Charlotte, North Carolina on Nesson. Your ticket to the best in motorsports.
And we're back with you once again here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the running of the Sportsman 100 tonight. And we have a caution, a lengthy one out here on the track as several cars got tangled up over in turn number 2. While we have a moment, joining Neil Bonnet, myself up here in the booth, this is Humpy World, and here's the man himself. The Sportsman 100 underway. This is the guy that decided that what Charlotte Motor Speedway and racing needed was a division like this, where folks could get out here and go for it and not spend the kind of money you do in Grand National or Winston Cup. I'm taking your lines, aren't I, A.J.?
Well, you know, I remember Neil Bonnet when he first started, and he had to spend a lot of money to get to Charlotte Motor Speedway back in the days of the Busch Grand National, which was then the Sportsman division. And we really needed to have something that, say, the late model stock car drivers that are running the Hickories and Thunder Roads and places like that, something that they could get into that didn't cost them $60,000, $70,000. And so we came up with a Sportsman division. And the other reason was there was really no place to sell your old Winston Cup or Busch Grand National cars. So, except to ARCA, and, you know, there's not that many of those people. So the market was depressed for Winston Cup and Busch Grand National guys. And so what we did, we just said, you know, you run old Winston Cup and Busch Grand National cars, we let both of them come in. You got to run a 2-barrel carburetor, strictly Saturday night type racing to slow them down some. And, you know, we've gotten some criticism over them because we've had some bad wrecks. And it's kind of a catch-22 because what do? You got to, they have to learn how to drive on a super speedway. And you learn by your mistakes.
Humpy, I tell you what, if anybody knows it, I'm telling you, you know yourself, when I came up here, I was running 80 to 100 races a year all over the country on short tracks, and I'd win about 40 of them. I said, hey, I'm ready to go get after those guys. You come to a big racetrack like this, you can sit down in a driver's meeting. I had Cale Yarborough, Bobby Allison, Petty, and those guys saying you do this or you don't do that. The only way you really learn what to do is on this racetrack. And you're going to pay the price every now and then, but that lesson sticks with you. And this series is getting better and better. We're seeing more quality racing, less accidents. You're going to have wrecks in the Winston Cup Series, and this is a good training ground for these guys. And like you say, inexpensive. Believe it or not, there is a way to race without spending $100,000 for some racing equipment.
On super speedways.
Yeah, super speedways. You can race on Friday and Saturday night for half-mile tracks all your life. There's nothing like climbing in one of these things. Big, nice racetrack like this, you talk about some fun.
Well, we're going to have H.A. stay in. You know, this is the guy that invented Robin Hood Speedway years ago. One of the more interesting dirt tracks. We can talk about that when we come back. But you were the public address announcer. He also sold the popcorn as well as the tickets and handled the back gate. We're going to let you call a few laps, and this thing's ready to rumble once again. Stay with us here at Charlotte, North Carolina. Sportsman 100 competition on Prime.
Introducing Don Imus.
This is the finest morning radio program in the history of this medium, and it will save all of these hideous radio stations that we go on, won't it? You going national, you being syndicated, is simply to further feed your bloated, fathead, porcine ego.
Just shut up. Imus in the morning, weekdays from 6 to 10 on Sports Radio WEEI.
The excitement level is at a fever pitch in anticipation of the return to action of the 1993 Boston Bruins. Led into action by newly acquired John Casey and 14-time All-Star Ray Bork, the Bees are on a collision course to open their home schedule with revenge on their minds with what promises to be a fierce rematch against the Buffalo Sabres. Join me, Tom Larson, as Nesson begins our 10th season of excellence and unparalleled coverage of the Bruins, all coming your way tomorrow night, live at 7.
we're back with you at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and this is a lengthy caution period. It went down at about lap 26. We're now on 33. We understand the drivers are, there may be one driver they want to take an extra look at here, and they're being very careful about taking him out of his car. There's 2 cars still over there, and I think Harry Page is the one they're working on at the present time. So we're still a few moments from getting this race back underway. Let's go to Corinne Economac.
I'm here in Shari Minter's pit, and her crew told me that the reason she fell so far behind was because her tires were loose. They've elected not to bring her in under green because they say that means you're automatically a lap down. Right now, all they want to do is finish the race. Back to you, Dick.
Well, we were talking to Kirk Shelmerdine earlier tonight, and boy, what he is saying about the race car that is leading this field fits right in with what Humpy Wheeler is trying to do with these cars. One way to cut the cost is to have a car live a long time. Let me tell you how old this thing is that's in the front of the pack. Jeff Bodine turned it over when it was a Levi Garrett Bush car. How old is that, Humpy?
That's a long time, and that's the first inside flip that we had here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where the car went to the inside like it does at Daytona and Talladega. So that's about 7 years ago.
Halfway and 1 lap before we get going once again out here. So they've got the backstretch cleared. They brought in the safety equipment. We're ready to ramble one more time.
Ken, I think the drivers that were in that wreck on the backstretch are all in pretty good shape. One of them was complaining of low back pains and ribs were hurting him. But the reason it took so long out there is the cars were tangled together, and a couple of bars off one of the cars broke into the other car. So
you can see that 21 car right there. Now that one has a history, doesn't it, Bonnie?
I tell you what, that car was a Pontiac, and I won Australia. The first time we went down to Australia and run the NASCAR-type cars at the Thunderdome, I didn't realize that. He's been running that car for several years, and he told, I met him that day, this Pappy Darnell. He's just a young 64. He's got 2 years of racing experience, and I won Australia in that car, and he's probably doing a better job in it here than I would be. He's got it going now.
All right, he's back in what, 20th, as we get set for a go? All right, just about set to turn him loose with Shelmerdine up in front. And staying right there is that number 22. That's Wally Fowler. I think I called him Wallace a moment ago. I'll take a correction on that one. Fowler in second spot. There you see that 61, that green-yellow car that is the Minter car back there in fifth. She'll be under a lot of pressure from Peter Gibbons when they turn this loose. He wants to get back up here. He's had some very good runs in this racetrack. The Canadian in the blue, car number 92. Green's out. Whoa! From the back of the field, a lot of rambling. They get them 3 and 4 wide right at the outset. Car number 98 made an evasive action. The guy in front of him, I thought, he wanted to take another lap before they turned him loose. And Lester Lesniewski almost had a couple of cars over his front grill, so he went all the way to the bottom and pulled around him.
You know, it seems like that's one of the hardest things for these guys to realize. They get real jumpy on these starts, to have that patience, and that comes with maturity. You run these big tracks, to wait a little bit till things get strung out a little bit.
And learning how to change those gears, Neil, as you well know. They used to them on the short tracks, but they really haven't got them dialed in yet on the big tracks, how to shift those gears.
All right. Now they're beginning to really ramble out here, and we'll go right to the man who created the action, Humpy Wheeler, to call it for you.
Well, Kirk Shelmerdine is in the lead, and, you know, he's really at a crossroads in his racing career about whether he wants to continue to be a race driver or go back and be a crew chief. And he's getting tested right here by Mr. Fowler in that number 22 car. But Kirk is entering the 4th turn at the Speedway, which is Humpty Dumpty's Bumpty, that's what Darrell Waltrip calls it. And what we did in that 4th turn, Kirk knows all about it, and he's probably going to win or lose this race by the way he gets through that 4th turn with Fowler right behind him, because Kirk's a master at chassis control and setting things up. He's not a bad race driver. We might find out this week whether Kirk Shelmerdine is going to keep racing the car or going back and turn the wrenches.
Come on, we might go for a snack. He's all set.
I tell you what, if you're going to sit here and call play-by-play, I'm going to run the Speedway a while.
Please do.
I'll be at your office. If you need some tickets, see me.
Nice talk. So take a look at the running order right now. There's Fowler in that 22 hanging right on to the leader, and Sewell in the number 20, the 20 in third spot.
You know, a lot of times, Ken, when we go to the pits and ask the crew how their driver is doing, we heard Shelmerdine say that he's doing all he can do. Heard the 22 said they thought they could crawl all over it. Might be the first time they ever told us the truth. I believe Shelmerdine's doing all he can do. Looks like Fowler's car might be getting better the longer they run.
Neil, I got to ask you one question. What do you think is going through Fowler's mind right now? Well, you know, he's inexperienced, but he's had some laps here, but he knows he's racing a tough guy.
Well, he's racing a tough guy, and he knows well enough on these big tracks that you'll catch a guy. It's not easy just to drive by him. We've seen a lot of cars catch someone like this, try to pinch the car down, make the wrong move, and then lose their race car and take some more with him. I think if he's got that good a race car, he can play his hand for a while, and then the pass will be a lot easier after he gets to feel the way Shelmerdine's car is working in front of him.
We've got trouble in turn number 4. One car looping, one car crashing down to the inside, and there's more to come. Actually, everybody's doing a very good job evasively here. One car doing a complete 360 up there. There you see the 43, all snarled up in the front end. Paul Shaver's car. And here's the car that did that spin up there and was able to collect it.
You know, Ken, they really have done a good job tonight, though, seriously, when they've lost control of the cars. They're thinking about what to do. They're taking them down to the inside like they're supposed to. Neil, you must have talked to them before the race started.
Well, somebody asked us something. We know we've seen it before. A wreck happen half a mile in front of them. And they'll just keep moving forward, and they get involved in that wreck. So they're starting to pay attention to what's going on.
Okay, Humpy, let's take a look at the replay here. That's Paul Shaver in the 43, and the 66, that's Jerry Knowles down on the inside.
And it looks like what happened to him. The fourth turn bit him again after that 66 got up under his left rear quarter, and he lost some air. And, you know, he's sitting there right now knowing, hey, he's tasting Charlotte Motor Speedway's Humpty Dumpty fourth turn.
Look here behind them. These guys are doing a good job.
Super.
They're getting them slowed down, and then they're starting to dodge them. We're used to, a lot of times we preach to them, when you have a problem, just lock the brakes down. Sometimes you drive through it. Don't just lock it down and go ahead and crash.
Watch that 01, Shot Howard. I mean, this guy did a really good job. It's still a little ways down here from where the incident begins. That's Knowles, who won at Pocono in that 66 earlier this year when the Sportsman were running up there. 43 taking some pretty hard abuse and about to take some more.
Neil, don't you think they're learning to not overreact in situations like this, that's the difference that we're seeing here tonight?
Yeah, let me tell you, when you're in a wreck, there's nothing going to back up and take you out of it. The thing you want to do is don't make it any worse yourself. Don't make the wrong move, stack up 15 cars and get run over. So they're starting paying attention to what's going on. When you have a problem, try to get yourself out of it. Don't give up.
Working on Jerry Knowles' car. Work on Paul Shaver's car. They want to get back out and run this thing. 41 of 67 laps complete. Stay tuned.
Mighty good. Even yours, Mike.
You mean if I call my son in college the most, Sprint pays half?
Now there's a new reason to switch to the most.
What if I told you he goes to college in Japan?
No problem. Call anyone, anywhere, anytime, and Sprint will split the bill on the person you call most.
I don't suppose there's anything you could do about his tuition bill.
Sorry, we have to draw the line somewhere.
Call now and save 50% with Sprint's calling plan, the most.
You are witnessing the creation of a new cold medicine with 2 medicines for cough and chest congestion. 60 milligrams of the leading non-drowsy decongestant for stuffy nose. And for fever and sore throat, 500 milligrams of the leading pain reliever. Introducing Sudafed Cold and Cough Liquid Caps. Not even a prescription medicine can give you more complete non-drowsy cold symptom relief. Use Sudafed Cold and Cough Liquid Caps.
Next Wednesday, everyone's feeling the heat.
Anytime you want to talk, you just call, even if it's not about your divorce.
Jane has an affair with her lawyer. Amanda's playing games with Jake. And that's just the beginning.
Could use a towel.
There's no hotter place than Melrose Place. An all-new episode next Wednesday.
Electric Shave.
Williams Electric Shave.
From J.B. Williams.
Newsflash for Big 8 football fans. Get the inside stories and follow your favorite teams from field to field. See the big hits and the big plays on the Big 8 Gridiron Report. Every week on Prime.
At Charlotte Motor Speedway, ready to take green another time with 44 laps complete as they come to the stripe. Shelmerdine still in front. Right with him comes Wally Fowler. Good, clean start. And a challenge immediately on the outside. Here comes that number 20, beginning to ramble. Ronnie Sewell trying to pick up a spot. Gets fought off for the moment, but he's still there, still lurking. And here comes Gibbons in the 92 on the inside.
Yeah, Sewell made that move to try to move around the second-place car. In turn, it's going to cost him a position. Gibbons got under him, got that line up off the corner.
We mentioned before, Gibbons has a lot of experience. He drove up in the Northeast quite a bit, but he loves to come down here and run these super speedways. It's a whole family deal.
Well, Wally Fowle, the number 22, he's from Campobello, South Carolina, and that's rich in racing lore. There's a lot of tracks in that area and have been the last 30 or 40 years. There's a lot of good red clay back there, and it produced a lot of race drivers.
Is that where Robin Hood Speedway was?
Robin Hood Speedway was 80 miles north of Campobello.
Hey, Humpy, let me tell you, if you're going to do this, now don't give me that rich and racist and whatever you said, because I don't know those words from Alabama. I'll lose my job. Get too fancy for me.
I'm going to give you a full-time job as an MC, Neil. You did a great job on Earnhardt.
Boy, we had a car get in the wall. Number 87 bounced off the fourth turn wall.
And we got one in the grass.
Headed down in turn 1. Whoa, missed that wall. Almost got the pace car.
That's Fred Costanza. Came here from Safety Harbor, Florida. There's no Safety Harbor out there.
Guys, we got to hire him. He just did an Earnhardt. I don't know how he got through that.
Amazing what you can do with your eyes, that old line, with your eyes closed. Look at this battle for the lead. Serious stuff up here.
Well, he's made a move coming off fourth turn. Tried his best to get around Shelmerdine. Couldn't quite make it.
But the guy that's going to make the move is going to be Gibbons. Peter Gibbons in that 92. He'll come up. He'll give them fits in a moment.
Neil, is he handling just a little better than Kern?
Oh, look at this lap car. Boy, you're talking about a shuffle. Thank goodness you paved it extra wide back there, Humpy. I tell you, it looks like the 22 car gets better the longer they run. Burton's car, they're able to run him down after they run a little bit. Gibbons' car has been steadily coming to the front before he qualified. Talking about running through the grass. Henry Benefield ran across your sign wall ago, Humpy, messed up the painting.
Henry did it again.
Are you going to bill him for that one?
That's a $3,000 slide he did.
How much does the lighting here cost? An hour?
Well, due to our wonderfully efficient utility company here, Duke Power, it only costs us actually about $200 an hour.
To light this whole thing?
To light the whole thing.
And it cost $3,000 for that little sign that Henry ran through.
Well, I tell you what.
You're hearing a promoter speaking right here.
If he could light this baby for $200 an hour, I'm going to get him paid my power bill in Alabama.
And the yellow flag's out.
Caution's down once again. Yellow is out. We've got one car dragging in very slowly, but they got it in. There may be some more debris out there.
I think that's the car that bounced off the turn 4 wall earlier.
Indeed it is. That's the Buck Baker-owned car that Craig Butts is driving. He's out of Grove Hill, Alabama. Now, what can you tell us about him, Humpy?
Well, I'm sure that's one of Buck Baker's driving students that wanted to go past Buck Baker Driving School and get up here and get a taste of what the big-time racing is all about.
He got a taste of it. He took a taste out of the wall.
I tell you, if you'll take a look right there at those rims. When he stopped, concrete fell out on the ground. It's where he grind the painting off, and he got it a good taste.
So we'll be back with you. We're under another caution, and we've got a great battle beginning to develop for the championship in the Sportsman 100. 4 guys, all of them could win it.
Had a platinum plug in there, great performance. Next weekend, I had the split fires in there. Amazing difference. I couldn't believe it.
More complete combustion.
I use lower octane now.
Phil and Vlad are bringing over gifts, and Berkowitz will provide the current issue of Big Butt magazine, which he forgot to take home last night. Geraldo Rivera with us on the Color Cast tonight. And you may have seen in the papers today an enormous ad purchased by CNBC at great expense, which says that he and I will be on the air together. Tell me what to do with it. And focus. Good. Now, you notice it says there,
Geraldo Rivera on Tom Snyder. He's actually not going to be on me. You know, when it says, you know, TV history only on CNBC, Geraldo Rivera on Tom Snyder, some people might get the wrong idea from this. It means that he's guesting with us tonight, and he'll be on the show to answer my questions and take your phone calls on the fabulous toll-free exchange. Anyway, thank you to the company for providing that promotion today in USA Today and other selected newspapers around the country. Finally, yeah, Tom, get on with this. You know, at the CNBC Bureau in Burbank, the walls are blank because it's a comparatively new bureau and we don't have a lot of artwork on the walls. And I was delighted to come back here the other day and just be able to walk the halls and notice the fine art which hangs here in Fort Lee, New Jersey. For example, I have a piece of it right here.
You're all strung out.
On this, or show a close-up of it. It's a fascinating picture. It's called Man Underneath Elephant. It's the title of this picture. Now, you see the kid here is hugging the elephant, but the real question that you have to ask yourself is, what is this guy doing under here? What's that guy doing? Let's put it.
50 of 67 laps are complete. We're just barely back under green, and here's the struggle. There you see Shelmerdine up in front. Wally Fowler in the 22 running in second. Right behind him comes Gibbons in the 92 third, and Sewell in the 20 is fourth. Locked together on this restart. Good battle as this race gets down toward decision time. With Neil Bonnet and H.A. Wheeler alongside. Thanks to Humpy's assistance, Neil's been able to polish off bread pudding, a banana something or other, and an entire bag of nuts.
Those fat guys like me have to eat quite often.
Ken, you know, these guys are smelling the end of the race right now. You can feel it.
Yeah, we've had a couple of them say that they thought they had something for the leader. Well, they're thinking time's over. You're going to have to show him you got something and get on around him. These cars, when you turn down in the corner, you'll bog them down a little bit. You better make that pass and not wait till the very end.
Gibbons, who made all that time up, got himself back up with those leaders, now falls back about 3-4 car lengths. The tires are given out there. Those two leaders are gone away.
He made a couple tries in the middle of turn 3 and 4 up under these two guys, and he lost some ground. I tell you, Fowler's car is all over the back of Shelmerdine. He's got a reason to be concerned.
And, you know, since they can only run a 2-barrel carburetor, they really don't have that tremendous punch coming off the corner. So you're going to have to drive hard to get up there in front, particularly Shelmerdine.
Take a look at this Lester Lesneski, Humpy. This guy started 19th. He's up to 7th spot, making a pretty good run of it out here at the present time.
Yes, he is. I think this is the first Sportsman race that he's run, and he's doing a good job.
The thing that's hard to tell these guys, just like you said, this is the first race. It doesn't matter if it's your first one. If you win, you're in second, third, or fourth. The key is to be running when they drop that checkered flag.
Oh, we've got one loose up in turn number 4. Gibbons coming through the grass, and another car spinning directly behind him. Everybody so far is playing it very well. Remarkable job, and Lesneski was the one that came down through the grass and made a great save.
And again, we're seeing a lot of maturity in these drivers. They're not overreacting. That would have been 2 years ago. There would have been 6-car pileup.
More like a 16-car pileup. Let's go down to Dick Berggren.
Well, the 92 just went right by here, Ken Squire. The crew was ready for him to come in so they could fire 4 fresh tires at that car, which they can if they flat spot him. It's against the rules to put them on if there's nothing wrong, except they're not fast. Crew was ready. Gibbons couldn't get in. There was another car on the inside of it. Julio Montanari ready. They are going to bring Gibbons in, most likely, to try to change 4 tires. It's a shame he was all the way up to third when that incident occurred.
But he had backed up a little. Of course, the laps are running out. Let's take another gander at what happened here. There's Gibbons in the blue car down on the bottom.
Those two cars, the car you see across the middle of the racetrack, they did get together back just a little prior to the shot starting off. They touched coming off the corner. Boy, look at everybody stacking up behind them. Black car on the inside wobbling all over track. Did a good job of straightening it out.
That white car that really slowed down, that could have had some repercussions big time, but they were able to get around it. So we have another caution. We're down toward the end of it. We've completed 55. We'll be back for the finish in a moment. So Tuck Trentham's car came by a moment ago. That had taken some abuse. Here you see the Gibbons car. He's come in and changed tires. He's got a pretty good shot at this thing of getting back up through on fresh rubber. Again, another look at what happened. Okay, see this.
Yeah, you can see. You see they touched even further back. Got around there.
That's that 20 car. Ronnie Sewell is running up there in position.
And boy, now what Sewell? He's going to start to back up out on the racetrack. Fix the road. Look at the oncoming traffic.
And see that white car slow down there.
Yeah, that's almost
where I thought we were going to be in trouble.
That's almost being too protective. The thing is, try to drive through. Look at the black car right there get hit, turned sideways. They're splitting the white car still around on both sides. One guy went right down pit road. Hey, pick a place where there's not anybody. Use pit road or whatever's available.
So we're ready on a restart.
Did you say it was $3,000 to paint that sign out there?
Yeah, the price just went up. It's now $3,500 because we also tore some good fescue North Carolina grass up.
Well, let me tell you, I'm not real busy when this thing goes off the air, and I've used a paintbrush before.
Pal, you got a job for the rest of the night. I know you used a paintbrush. You knocked a lot off your race.
There's nothing like having the groundskeeper doing the play-by-play.
We got a race on now.
Indeed we do. Shelmerdine up in front, Fowler in second, pace car ready to come in. 56 of 67 laps complete. 67 will make us to 100 miles. Green is down.
And those three boys and that one girl in fourth place, this is going to get real interesting.
That's right, Sherry Minter. Back to fourth. She started outside of the front row and fell way back outside the top 10. She finds herself right back up in the thick of it again. Shelmerdine first, Fowler in second and on the breakaway.
Boy, it seems to take a little while for Fowler's car to come around, but he's going to have to get on top of it. He can't wait for his car to get better, Shelmerdine to get worse, because he doesn't have that many laps.
From the rear, picking him up. In between, take him any way he can get him. Here comes Gibbons. Time's running out on him, but he's got fresh tires on. Once he gets those things humming, it'll be interesting to see how far he can make it back through the field. Back up front.
This looks like Ralph Earnhardt trick that Wally Fowler is pulling on Kirk Shelmerdine. This is exactly the way Dale Earnhardt's father, Ralph, used to race. He would stay second, glued on the back of the front car, and make his move with 2 laps to go.
According to Ned Jarrett, he used to stay back there and then run Ned off into the weeds.
He do that sometimes.
Shelmerdine's car sure is working good on the bottom of that racetrack. 22 car Fowler's going to have to do something. Going to have to slide up on the edge of this seat and make something happen, because Shelmerdine's car looks awful good.
Neil, what is Kirk thinking right now? What's going through his mind?
Well, I'm sure he's checked that mirror and he sees where, just like here, look right here, the 22 can close up on off the corner. He's got to protect that lane. He said he knows what his car is capable of doing. He's just trying to figure out where the guy behind him is going to make the move. You got to, hey, racing is just like any sport. There's offense and defense to a certain point. And I feel like Kirk's going to have to go defensively right here at the end, or he's going to make a run on.
David Smith stays third. Sherry Minter is in fourth and trying to work his way back up. We've got 60 of the 67 laps complete. Gibbons from the back of the field's making a pretty good run on this thing.
And Sherry Minter in fourth place. There's an interesting story there, because this will be the highest finish a female has ever had here at the Speedway. You know, this was Janet Guthrie's first major race, the 600 back in 1976, and she finished 15th here.
Aren't you having a special ceremony or something for a lot of women drivers that are down here?
Yes, we're honoring the great women drivers, female drivers across the United States in the Speedway Club, and Lynn St. James, Janet Guthrie, Lillian Vandiver, who did very well here in the old Charlotte Dash cars, and it's going to be a nice affair, sold out. It's going to be a lot of fun because, you know, gal's done a good job. We've got, there will be one day, in my opinion, a female driver running a Winston Cup race and then running up there in that top 10.
That seemed to work. Look at this guy, number 22, Wally Fowler, trying to work on the bottom. Denise McCluggett should have been born right about now. She could have given anybody.
She could have. We got one in the fourth turn.
Big crash in turn 4. One car spinning once, twice, 3 more getting loose.
Several
Caution is out at lap 62. And again, some wonderful evasive driving by some of these guys, because that one looked like it could get a lot worse than it was, Humpy.
Well, again, that fourth turn, which is the tough part here. It's like trying to putt on a green that's, you don't know where anything's going, and it bit him again.
Bob Fox Jr. out of Long Island was right in the middle of that, along with Henry Wallace. And the car that spun first was Lane Vale. And there's that 91 car that had its hands full. He landed down on the inside. Henry Wallace doing a little mowing. The 01 car of Shot Howard was involved. Here it is again.
Oh, a little bit of contact right up there in the middle of the corner. See the red car get right up against the 15. And then watch this. They're going to pin the black car's trying to get over. It gets pinned on the wall right in the tail end of 4 of them stack it up together. And then he hits right on the nose coming around. That's, once those first 2 wrecked, I'm telling you, it could have been a lot worse.
Shot Howard in the 01, he really took one there. Watch again. That 01 gets into this late in the going.
Yeah, it's going to come around there. Got into him after he spun the second time.
A little tighter look at this thing.
Okay, here we go. Was it 21? They got together right there, get down in the corner. Then they touch coming up off. Ooh, then he pin the black car right against the wall. Boy, this is a pretty good lick right here.
Right in the door.
Then the 01 comes in and nails him in the right front.
64 complete of 67. We'll take a quick break and come back for the finish. Say that and then watch him have some kind of a problem right here on this caution lap that'll put Wally Fowler up in front.
And Neil, we know what goes through a driver's mind on the last lap under a regular white-green situation. What's going through Kirk's mind right now when he knows all he's got to do is put around to the start-finish line?
Hey, let me tell you, Humpy, I've seen it, and I know you have too. Just at Dover, Delaware last year, a guy had to race one. The cars are made for running at speed. Centrifugal force slings the fuel over the right side of the fuel cell. The pickup is on the right side of the car. If you look at Shelburne's car right now, it's leaning to the left. I've seen them run out of gas because they were going slow.
Yeah, but how does the guy in second feel? How does Fowler feel? I mean, there he is.
Well, Fowler says, I hope the heck he runs out of gas. He hasn't got a lot of control over it right now.
And we got, and of course, got to come around, but Sherry Miller's done a terrific job, 40-car field, and she's finished. She will probably finish 4th. That's where she's running now.
So they're going to bring them by. This is the 3rd and 4th time. There's Sherry Miller. Qualified well, came out here and ran well with the field all night.
Yeah, and I tell you what was impressive about that. Before this race started, we talked to her sitting on the outside front row. She said, when this thing starts, I'm going to pull over the inside. I'm going to do this, do that. She did exactly what she needed to. She's still running when this thing's over. Come back with a race car, just kind of wash the thing off, come back next time and try it again.
So the pace car is going to bring them home. They continue to work on Shot Howard's car there. And the checkered flag will belong to Shelberdine. Wally Fowler will have to settle for 2nd. Finishing 3rd will be David Smith. Sherry Minter will be 4th. And 5th will be Red Everett from Fair Forest, South Carolina in his Chevrolet. All in all, a good battle all the way. Too bad we couldn't have got a green flag to get us down to that finish between the 22 Fowler and Shelberdine, but they put on a good show all those laps they were able to run. So we'll take a break. We'll be back shortly to meet the winner of this Sportsman 100 at the famed Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's upcoming.
Dave, I have tears in my eyes. I just can't believe what we've seen here tonight. Look back up, Peter Marshall. Hat-trick bid. Back in and score! Hat-trick for Peter Marshall. He's free. The goalie's on. They score! Boston College wins it at 1:15 of overtime. Fire might turn it around in a hurry. Fire in. Stop by Racine. Giuliano. Goal! From behind the net. Major banked it in off Lippman. He's got Rouen with the Rouen. Fires it all.
on his knees. Close up front to Hines. Open net play. Unbelievable. I don't believe what I just saw there. That's unbelievable.
Ken Squire back with you and our new analyst here, Humpy Wheeler alongside, and give him an inch and he'll take the racetrack. Thank you very much. Mr. Bonnet has gone over into Mr. Wheeler's chair.
He's taking my job.
And
he's taking my
two
job.
radios and a headset.
He can have it.
And looking frustrated just like Wheeler does through most of the day. Oh, my. Let's go to victory lane.
Well, given that you had a rear view mirror full of Fowler for so much of that race, were you glad to see that caution, or did you want to race him at the end?
Well, when you're in front, you really don't want anything to go wrong, you know, and the cautions are easy laps on the tires and engine and everything, but I think I had a better car than he did. He did a real good job, and we drafted some awful fast laps and got away from the other cars, but I really don't think he had much for me unless I messed up.
Been a lot of talk about what you're going to do from here. It's hard to leave victory lane and not get back into a race car again. What will you do?
Well, we still got another one of these races on Saturday, and as good as the car's running, you know, I'd hate to not win because we got a real good car. I got some help from Roberts Racing Engines. They did our motors this year, and we got some pretty good stuff. And we got some sponsorship at the last minute today from VHT Paint. So hopefully we can do a good job for them next week, too.
So many wrecks today. You spent so many laps driving by, so much devastation. Does that affect you? Does that bother you, make you want to take it easy?
Well, you always want to take it easy and be careful, but I don't think anybody was badly hurt. It didn't look that way anyway, and that's a good thing. And that really doesn't get on your nerves when the cars get banged up because they're made for it. And with trash on the track, when there's a crash, there's a lot of little bits and pieces everywhere, and you can hear them hitting in the fender wells, and that makes you nervous. But
well, Kirk Shelmerdine has won his second race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Big night for him. He had a lot of competition from Fowler behind him, but he has come home victorious tonight.
Underneath every new Jimmy is the strength of a strong truck frame.
Glistening and glittering here on a nice evening after a Sportsman 100, and Corinna Conamacki is standing by with the second place finisher tonight.
We're here with Wally Fowler, who came in second tonight, and there's not a scratch on your car. Wally, how did you do that?
Well, used my head and kept this Knight and Electric Flounder Tony's Restaurant Chevrolet out of trouble, and I don't know, it's just I had some good help on the radio, and we just stayed out of trouble.
Couldn't catch Kirk?
No, I didn't have quite enough for Kurt. I thought maybe at one time we did, but that's just the way it goes. That's racing.
Maybe next time.
Hope so.
Final standings here in the Sportsman 100 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here's how they came across tonight. Shelmerdine, who dictated the terms of this right from the outset, defeating Fowler in second, Smith, and then Sherry Minter came home in fourth with Red Everett fifth as they crossed the line under caution at the end. Ron Hickson came home in the sixth spot. Checking a little further back here, there you see Mickey Hudspeth in 10. And I thought we might catch up with where Peter Gibbons ended up this evening. There's the top 15 for you in the unofficial results. Rodney Thomas, 15th. Now we're back to 20th, and Gibbons got himself back to 18th. And there was, from 18th position, 36th door. He had a good run tonight. Gibbons coming back on those fresh tires. As you look further back, Henry Benfield found himself 22nd on the night. And as we take a final look at the results, we'll talk to our new analyst here, H.A. Humpy Wheeler. Now that the promoter is back with us, we have to be careful.
Yeah, we're going to trade jobs. He's going to find out running the racetrack's nothing but the two T's, toilets and traffic. We made history tonight.
Why?
We had a Sherry Minter finish fourth, highest female finisher at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and a guy who has a flounder company, finished second. That's the first time a flounder one has
He
ever
certainly didn't flounder, that's for sure. Well, thank you, Neil, for all of your help tonight and for running the races, and to H.A. Wheeler for coming by, and Corinna Konamaki and Dr. Dick Berggren along to bring you the Sportsman 100 from Charlotte. It's been a great night. Hope you've enjoyed the competition here on Prime. A reminder, October the 17th, Prime will take you to Jennerstown, and you'll see ASA competition. That's on Prime. More racing, more of the time, and tomorrow night, Eli Gold will have Dick Trickle as a...